Welcome to another episode of Inspired Good Fat Life. And our guest today has a really interesting story to tell. And I'm really excited and grateful that she's joining us, and she's out on the West Coast. So we'll bring her in just a minute. First, I just want to take a little commercial break and remind you about Good Fat Life magazine. We have this beautiful magazine that is in print, where you can curl up and read it at your own leisure with your favorite beverage of choice, or you can read it online digitally. And check out our website, goodfatlife.com, and see all the cool things that are happening with us. So that said, I am so excited to introduce Athena Papasodero. And did I get that right?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely right.
Good. Like I said, I love your name. It's such an interesting name, and so Athena is, like I said, joining us from the West Coast, which it looks like you're having another beautiful sunny day. And
Yes.
and she has a really interesting story to tell, and we work together at Hearts Awakening, a nonprofit, her backstory of how she got to working, being on the board for Hearts Awakening is really interesting. So Athena, welcome, and
Thank you for
tell
having
us all
me.
about it.
Well, I joined Hearts Awakening maybe about a year ago. I think I joined right after Thanksgiving last year, and I was just introduced to these concepts and this way of just trying to navigate life when I had met Dr. Valerie Shepard at UC Irvine when she was teaching a self-development class there. And I had found the teachings to be very profound in the effects in my life. And I thought it was the most useful class that I had ever taken because it has helped me in my personal life, my professional life. You can apply these skills wherever you go, and it's really just wonderful. And, I saw how much it helped me. I think I'm a pretty helpful, nurturing person in my nature, and I would just love to help people live positively like I have through, learning these things.
So that the class was what, Happiness 101? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
it's,
Right? And
yes.
so, um, you were looking, as we were talking, you were looking for something like that to help you move into a different space. Is that correct?
Yes, because I was in graduate school, and graduate school itself is really stressful all by itself. And it was in the in the sciences, which is pretty intensive, and then you have personal things going on when you're trying to do something that's very intensive, and it was a very challenging moment in my life. And I was just like, everything that I'm doing is not working. It feels like everything is failing. I'm getting everything wrong. And to be honest, it was a time when I was like very depressed, and I couldn't even make it, going through a day without breaking down and crying in the bathroom. And I'd be like, call my mother. I just don't know what to do. I can't do this. And so I was going through my school email, and then, wondering if, like, should I get on antidepressants? Like, I just can't manage this. And I saw a little flyer in the UCI email about a class, Happiness 101. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I need some happiness in my life. And it was just like, it was just wonderful. It was so wonderful. And I have just totally just was like catapulted, I feel, into just like this next level of just really like not your life changing, but you learning how to manage it better and not call your mom crying throughout the day.
Which probably makes your mom feel better too, right?
Yeah, I'm sure she was quite worried.
Because as moms, we want our kids to be happy, right?
Yeah.
So that's, and what are you studying? Tell me, and the work that you do now. It's in the
Okay.
medical field?
So I work in the biotechnology field. So my undergraduate degree was molecular cell and developmental biology, and then the master's degree was biomedical science. And so for my trade, I work as an analytical biochemist. And so that's just
I can hardly say those
characterizing
words.
it's characterizing the biophysical and biochemical properties of whatever molecule or drug a company is trying to bring to market, because you have to prove to the FDA that it's pure, the concentration is correct, the conformation of the protein is correct. So it's just like, it's kind of fun. I think of it as like puzzle solving, especially if you get like a hard molecule to characterize, you got to figure out how to do it. So I I like it because one, it's helpful to bring drugs to market, and I did work at a company where we did that, so that was just wonderful. But I also feel like mentally stimulated as well. Yeah, that's
Well,
good.
that's good. And as I understand, you were motivated to go into this field because you were a caregiver for your grandmother, and
Yeah.
you watched her suffer and be ill, and you wanted to help mitigate that pain and suffering for others.
Yes, because both of my grandparents were very sick, but I helped more with the caregiving of my grandmother. Um, my grandmother, she had a health decline pretty early in her life, around her 40s, and so she had diabetes, and she went blind. And I was very young, probably like 6 years old, escorting her to her doctor's appointments because she couldn't see anything. And it was like, as the older I get, the more sicker she got. She was a double leg amputee and chronic kidney infections and dialysis, and so she, needed was totally dependent upon the care of the family and just the way that things were. I lived with her and really nursed her. I was administering medicines and changing diapers, the whole thing. But she was just she was a really loving grandmother. And so she passed away just a few months before I went to college, and I just was like, I want to help people not suffer from disease. And so I had always been really into the sciences as a young child, like watching the Discovery Channel, but I feel like it really cemented in my brain that I wanted to do that. It kind of just like came to me when I was like reflecting, when I was like laying in bed. And so I embarked on that journey, and I went to UC Santa Cruz. And I think another interesting tidbit is when I got there, I almost didn't do it. I almost changed my major because they made you take these placement classes, and I placed into remedial math. And I was like, I am supposed to be a science major, and I got placed into a remedial math class. Like, I can't do this. And I was like, let me pick a major that has no math in it. And I'm like looking through the list, and I almost didn't do it because I had that self-limiting belief. And I had spoke with an upperclassman who was like, I did the same thing, and I'm going to go to medical school. Like, you can do it. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to give it my all. So,
Wow, that's a great story. I was working with 100 students yesterday, high school students, and we had this conversation about math. Right?
mhm,
I'm a CFO by trade, and I was like, guys, I wasn't good at math. I didn't like math, but I can add, I can subtract, I can multiply, and I can divide, right? And I can do
yeah,
percentages. That's fourth grade level math. And the rest of it, I had to get through statistics, and you figure it out, right?
yeah,
So
you
I'm
do.
so happy, so happy you didn't. It's like don't listen to these people.
Yeah. And
'Cause
I had to like it made me think of something my cross country coach from high school would tell me. It doesn't matter who's first place on the first lap. It matters who's first place on the last lap. Like, it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
it's where you
So,
finish. That is so true. That's great words of advice. Well, and so I love the fact that you were so inspired and motivated, or with Happiness 101 that you wanted to do more. You wanted to help others or provide the opportunity for others to experience this work, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
talk about that and your role on the board of Hearts Awakening and what's happening there. It's pretty exciting.
Yes. So right now, the Hearts Awakening Board is getting ready for a Giving Tuesday Give Back event. And so normally organizations will participate in Giving Tuesday, and that's where they ask people to please donate to their organizations so that they can give back to the community. And I feel Hearts Awakening has kind of flipped the script and wants to give back to organizations and really demonstrate, what can we do for your organizations? How can we work with your youth or the transitional ages with your organization to better serve them? And so right now we're doing an online event. And so it's a free event that's going to be filled with short sample lessons of, kind of those concepts that you learn in the from the Happiness 101 class. And then there's also going to be a panel with myself and some of the other, uh, what we call them torchbearers, but it's kind of like junior members of the Hearts Awakening organization, and where people can ask, well, how did this benefit you? How can this benefit our transitional youth groups? And then there'll also be fun raffle prizes. So
Yeah,
can't
we've
beat
got
that.
some. Yeah, we've got some awesome giveaways, and I love that you have taken the idea of giving back Tuesday. Right?
Yes. I
Go
think it's
ahead.
a good vibration to be in to give. I think it calls in, it's something you do in abundance when you give back. And it's like we really just want to, I think everybody on the board has the same passion to give and to share these things that have worked very well in our lives to others. Um, and it's like we're here and we are ready and we want to work. We want to work with the world.
So if you, oh no, I love it. It's great. And so if people want to find out how to sign up, what do they do? How do they,
So
where do they go?
So we have an Eventbrite link that you can sign up for to attend the group, and I'm sure we'll have it linked and
Yep.
ready um, with this podcast. But it's an Eventbrite link. You just put in your information, your email, and then you will get the Zoom link to join the event.
Okay. Okay, great. So what would you say it can or would you be willing to share like one thing that you learned in Happiness 101 that made a big difference for you? Can you
Well, I
think back or
think
is it just your way of life now?
well, it is my way of life, but it's not a straight line.
Okay.
Um,
Nothing
I
ever
would
is.
say, yeah, there's a few things. I think one is you have to wake up to what's going on in your life. You have to know what's going on in order to change something. So there's a certain awareness that you have to kind of look at. I think one thing was realizing how much power I really did have with the things that were upsetting me. Because there are some things where we don't have power over, like if you get sick or somebody dies. But for the most part, there are things that you have power over with who you're surrounding yourself with, where you're giving your energy and your time to. Um, and so, how much power I had to change the things that I didn't like. That was one. And I think a part of that tied back into the self-limiting beliefs that I did have of myself and didn't realize that they were there and how much they were influencing my decisions and who I was with and what behavior I would put up with from people. And I think there was this really big, like, feeling of lack, like I am not good enough. And it was, I'm not good enough because I came from a single mother household. I'm not good enough because, I don't know, I grew up, poor, or I'm not smart enough. And it just all came back to I'm not enough. And so realizing that and kind of seeing how that fear was shaping my decisions and shaping my life. And then you just have to recognize it, kind of rewrite the script. And that's something that that's not an easy thing to just rewrite. But, and so I feel like that was a big one. And I think just kind of like learning like that, like life is a mirror. And sometimes the things that are showing up for you to see these things and just to pay attention because the messages are there.
When we're noticing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Those are such powerful insights. Okay, so we're just going to take a little minute and do a shout out to our sponsor, Hands On Health in Chiropractic in Brighton, Michigan. I would, um, I, I'm at a loss for words, which is a little unusual just because of the value, how much value they bring to me as part of my self care team. The Dr. Rushford and the other chiropractors there are all just amazing humans. They care, really, really deeply care about the quality of life of their patients, and and they do so in such a just a kind, gentle way to be sure that you understand and are well educated about how your body works and how the work that they do supports you. And the staff is amazing. I always walk in there and am just I walk out happy. It doesn't matter what kind of a mood I walk in, I walk out happy and feel extremely well cared for. So thank you to Hands On Health. Okay, so now let's go back to our discussion. And I'm so happy that you found Happiness 101 and that impacted you enough to take those next steps and share it with youth in the world. And I'm really looking forward to the Giving Back Tuesday. It's going to be fun, right?
Yes, it will. I think everyone's really excited.
Right, and the whole torchbearer, all of the torchbearers, you guys have such great energy and heart, and are all such smart people. I'm just in awe of your brilliance in chemistry. Wow.
Yeah.
So
So,
okay, well, yeah, well, thank you so much for being with us, and we'll share the sign up links and watch for it. And yeah, so as we like to say, let's go out and live a good fat life.
all right, thank you so much.
Okay, be well. Bye bye.
Bye.